Hello, Stuart.
Hello, Floris. And hello to all you wonderful people out there in podcast listen land.
Podcast listen land exclusive to YouTubes. And a shout out to the Unawesomes, which is like a congregation of people that create things on the internet that have been very kind to me and send out this podcast thing we do into the internet.
Yeah, they've been good. They've been spreading the good word. We appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
I'm very happy with the two ladies behind the Unawesomes Twitter account. They're very nice and very pleasant.
Women as well. Oh.
Yeah, well, they are two women, yes.
Wow, the modern world.
Yeah. Soon you'll know they'll be getting the right to vote.
not if I have my way.
So, Stuart, me ladder boy. How are you?
Yes. I'm very well. I'm not very well. I'm pretty good. A little under the weather. I've been self-medicating most of the weekend with scotch. No actual medicines. But in my experience, if you're full of cold, scotch tends to alleviate the problem. So I've been sticking to a strict regimen. But yeah, I mean, other than that, in general, I feel like I do this a lot. I feel like there's quite a lot of these where it's like, how are you? It's like, I'm good, feel kind of sick, but other than that, fine. Like, it feels like that happens quite a lot. I'm all right.
I feel ill, so I'll just start drinking.
I mean, I'm going to find an excuse anyway, right? So, yeah, no, I'm good in general, pretty good. I mean, nothing going on, nothing to report. It's going to be a fucking short episode, because unless you've got stuff, I got nothing.
We got a list now.
Oh, we do have the list.
We do have a list.
I've got some notes. I should probably get. Looking behind the curtain somewhat now, listeners.
You're the one that came up with the idea of making the list.
I'm an ideas man. I forget these things exist.
So we definitely have stuff to talk about. We'll just see where the conversation rolls, and if we hit a dead end, we'll just pick one at random, maybe.
That's the format. How are you?
Yeah. I'm pretty good, I must say. I haven't been ill. I got invited to a barbecue the other day by my neighbours, so I'm like getting. These are still new neighbours, so I'm getting to know them. They like me. I like them. And their friends are really super impressed with me. So I'm out there socialising, which I haven't done in a while. So
that's nice that your neighbours have like reached out and been neighbourly, I guess is the word. I've never had that ever. In the cul-de-sac I grew up in, it being a cul-de-sac, it's very close-knit, very tight. And also it helped that like of the 17 houses in the cul-de-sac, in 5 of them were my family members. So very sort of close-knit where I grew up. But since I've like moved out and spread my wings, like on my street where I live now, I literally only know my next door neighbour, who is my shopkeeper. He's basically the only guy I'm friends. Like even the downstairs neighbour,
who might be dead.
No, he's back again. For those keeping score at home, he has again resurfaced.
Actually, to point out, he has since resurfaced, disappeared again, and I assume now resurfaced for a second time?
Yeah, no, he is resurfaced for a second time, yes. Still is perplexed about this refuse scenario. Doesn't know where the bins go. I don't know what to do in Germany.
I must say, this is indeed the first time like my neighbours have been actually neighbourly towards me. Like, I have never, not even Amsterdam, not even anywhere else, just when I was young, those neighbours, and that was it. This is the first time I'm like, hey, I like these people. They're about my age, they have similar interests, and they hang out with a lot of college-aged people, like mid-20s, of different backgrounds. So that's cool.
The cool young happening cats of.
Yeah, but it's like it's a multicultural thing that I'm used to from when I lived in Bournemouth and when I lived in Amsterdam. It's stuff that very resonates with me very easily because I can speak to everybody about all kinds of countries, all kinds of special things. Because I like that. That lets me flex my verbal tongues a little bit. So
verbal tongue.
Yeah, I don't know any other tongues there might be.
There's a problem as well. I mean, the tongues in your shoes?
So yes, I'm doing quite well.
Good.
Been on medication for lack of sleep and other things. So I might be... It depends on how well I'm taking it. I might drop out earlier than normal.
Okay.
But
Right.
I've had a test run with half a bottle of whiskey I got for my birthday, so I was quite alright with that.
Right.
And I had a whiskey tasting like a couple of weekends ago, and I had 10 shots, I think, at the end, and I was still standing and able to walk home, so I should be fine.
I imagine a whiskey tasting is different. I've not actually been, but the stereotype I've always seen from wine tastings is that you don't actually ever swallow the wine, you just swirl it around, then spit it out into like a big bucket.
Well,
I'm assuming you don't do that with whiskey because it would just burn shitloads. And
absolutely not.
Then I don't know. This isn't good.
It is the idea that you taste everything, because with wine tasting, everything goes in the bucket and you only are in for the flavour.
And then
But
at
with
the end,
the whiskey,
you drink the bucket.
some of them are like €100 bottles, and you have to pay like £1 to get a shot, or €1, sorry.
That's pretty good. That's €1 for £100 shot. That's pretty.
So,
I'll pay that.
so it's like it would be a waste to spit that back out. Luckily, one of my best friends, Jeroen of M, who
Friend of the show.
friend of the show, he's been name dropped before. He's like a whiskey connoisseur, like a proper one. And I always let myself be guided by his wisdom. And he goes like, yeah, we start off with these, and then those are somewhat stronger flavors. And by the end, we're drinking peated whiskies with big smoky accents. And those basically destroy your taste buds. So you can't taste the smoother ones anymore.
I was going to say there must be an art to a whiskey, because with a wine tasting, it's like, well, I mean, this is one, and then you have, you maybe need to wait a little bit, have a little palate cleanser or something. But with a whiskey, like, surely the strength of the booze in the whiskey and also the strength of the taste there must be like a tier system to how there must be an order that you have to drink them in, otherwise you'd be surely too smashed and your mouth too ruined by the more robust whiskies. Because by the 10th one, if you were drinking, a mild whiskey, it'd be like drinking water, no?
Yeah, you would not be able to tell the real difference. But
I wonder if that's why, like, because I never drink like the big, full-bodied, peated whiskies because they make me feel violently ill. But yet every time I get really, really smashed, and I go to like a posh whiskey bar, because every time I do get drunk, I'm like, I'm all refined. No. So I go to like the whiskey bar, and I go up to the barman, and he's like, what do you want? And my drunk brain, I don't know if it's the subconscious thing maybe, but like my drunk brain is like, they've got like 150 whiskies, and you don't know anything about whiskey, so just say, I'll have a peated whiskey, just give me a heavily peated whiskey, and then they give me one, it's like £20. But maybe that's why, maybe it's because my brain is also going like, if you buy something weaker than this, you just won't even notice, so get something real strong.
That's basically it. But they do provide you with a free glass and a free bottle of water to go along with the tastings, so you can cleanse your palate in between. There's a stand with snacks like cheeses and sausages and things like that.
Oh,
and
nice.
like a proper food stand as well. But I never have lunch there because that would be a waste of money.
Yes. Yeah. Water gets you more pissed with whiskey, though, no?
I don't know, but I drink a lot of water when I'm at those weekends because I just want to keep myself hydrated and not, get hungover at home.
Yeah, well,
because it's a daytime thing.
Yeah, that's not great.
No.
But no, I remember hearing ages ago that water is what you're supposed to drink with whiskey because whiskey crystallizes in your blood more than other alcohols do for some reason, and the water keeps that alcohol flowing. So
okay, I didn't.
This might be complete bollocks, but
well,
I'm sure
I might be
corrected
on this soon.
I'm sure I heard that once.
Right, but talking about whiskies and drinking, are you drinking anything?
Yes, I was drinking whiskey before we started this, but I've just finished. I had 2 whiskies, whiskey and soda. See, whiskey and water. And now I'm just on tins of lager, tins of British lager. It being, as we record this, St George's Day. I don't know why I said British. English lager, yeah, best in the world. St George's Day in England. St George's Day tomorrow.
I think it's St George's Day everywhere now.
Well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm drinking Carling because it was on offer. Well, nothing to write home about.
Carling, the okayest beer you can buy.
The most okay beer, like if the choice is Foster's or Carling, and it's like, well, Carling then I guess.
Yeah, I don't mind Carling. It's all right. If the price is right, I'll drink it.
And the price was right. £12 for 20 cans. You better believe the price was right.
Fuck me.
Drink responsibly. TLDR says
drink responsibly. Yes.
I bought these last Thursday. It's now Monday as we record this. I'm not drinking them all in one night. I'm not an idiot. Those days are gone. What if anything are you drinking?
Well, I was gonna buy Bavaria, which is the Dutch equivalent of the most okay beer you can buy.
Nice.
But it was on sale.
I figured that would have been Heineken.
No, Heineken. No.
Or Grolsch.
But Bavaria was on sale, but it was all sold out. So now I've gone back to my my go-to preference, Amstel.
Amstel is real nice, yeah.
Amstel's alright.
Amstel's really nice. Well, it's maybe I'm saying it's really nice because like it's slightly nicer than Carling. and it's always way dearer in the pubs here, so it makes it seem like it's a higher class of beer.
Because it's from Holland, you see.
It's from abroad. The exotic climes.
The exotic land of the Netherlands.
A good 40 miles from Britain at the absolute max.
It's like 15 minutes if you take the ferry. But yes, it's not 20 cans, but you know, it will do me.
We're not drinking 20 cans. As I said, last time we did this on a weeknight, I was off work for a week. Anyway, yeah, so no, it's St George's Day today.
Yes, indeed.
But we're not allowed to celebrate that because, you know, the left don't like it. So... but it's St George's Day, but it's only St George's Day today in Roman Catholic countries and Anglican countries.
Okay.
Because St George is the patron saint of more places and more things than any other patron saint. He's the patron saint of... What was the name of that city I mentioned to you earlier on? It's in Utrecht.
Amersfoort.
Amersfoort. Yeah, he's the patron saint of Amersfoort. He's the patron saint of Catalonia. He's the patron saint of various places in Italy. Florence, I believe.
Yes.
He's the patron saint of, appropriately enough, Georgia.
Whoa.
And several places in sort of the Middle East and places like that. And flowers and other various weird things. He's the patron saint of shitloads of things. But because it's all spread out around the world in different cultures and different places, the Catholic countries, and then latterly the Anglican countries, we have the feast day of St George on the 23rd. Some countries in Europe have it on the 24th. And then in Georgia, for example, it's in November. In Palestine, even in the Muslim countries, see, in Palestine, because that's where St George was from,
yes,
when it was part of the Roman Empire. Or possibly Syria, but it was all one territory in Rome. That's another story.
From somewhere over there.
Somewhere over there. The Holy Land, which is where he killed that lizard. Because there is a theory that he possibly did kill a lizard, not a dragon, but there's a theory that, like, there was a town in what would now be Israel, say, where they had some kind of lizard, like a big water monitor, or maybe like a saltwater crocodile even, maybe, terrorising, like, the local watering hole, and he possibly killed it. And then the local populace were like, oh my god, he killed this fucking monstrous dragon thing that was stopping us drinking water. He's the bet, and that's where the dragon story comes from, see? So even that might be sort of true. But
those things always snowball.
Yeah. But they have their feast day for him in May in Palestine. So yeah, right. There is one St. George, but he is the saint for everything, and he has several days.
My oh my. Well, I just double-checked for you, and St. George, or as the Dutch like to call him, Joris, because who calls people George?
British and Nigerian people, that's it.
His day is indeed the 23rd of April, which is the day of recording.
Yeah, the day of recording. Because we talk about dating the episode a lot. this is specifically dating
Yeah.
this part of the episode.
But this one is going to come out first, so that's all right.
Yes, it is. And
But
then we shall...
if we'd done this towards the end, like, which would
It
come
honestly,
out like...
it honestly crossed my mind to do this later on. when I was properly drunk and get all the facts wrong as well, just like into the bargain.
If that come out like towards the end, like a month later.
Yes. Yeah, but I find all that stuff really weird and interesting, like the patron saint thing, right? Who decides who is the patron saint of what and where? Like, presumably, if it's a country, it's that country's church or that town or that city, that province. They pick, like, oh, we'll have him as our designated saint. But, you know, when it's St. George, as I say, is the patron saint of flowers. Who decided that?
I would think that it's probably a pope, not the current pope,
Right.
but a
But
pope.
like what? So like what? Pius is just sat around and he was like, "Fuck it, he can be flowers then." And why is that necessary? I don't understand.
Well, flowers are delicate.
Well, that's true. But there's some great way when you look down the patron saints and what their patronages are. There's some fucking amazing ones. I found one not a week hence. I discovered Saint Bartholomew, one of my favourite saints. He was flayed alive. He was one of Jesus' apostles. So whenever you see a depiction of him, because he was flayed, he's carrying his skin, or he's wearing it as like a robe over himself, and like his flayed body.
Yes.
And then he's wearing his skin as a robe, right? He is the patron saint of neurological diseases.
You will have to run that by me one more time. Neurological diseases.
Yes, Saint Bartholomew of Jesus' 12 disciples, is one of his patronages is of neurological diseases.
So, okay, let me get this straight. Like, presumably the fella that was sitting at the same table as Jesus Christ, our Lord and Saviour.
He's there. He's in the painting of the Last Supper. He's right there. He's got his skin on in that one.
Yeah, because that hasn't happened yet. So
that hasn't happened yet. I know it'd be fucking gross.
The blood of Jesus, the eating the body of Jesus.
Speaking of things that are gross,
Jesus goes like, "Say, Bartholomew, do you know what you really are good at?" And Bartholomew goes like, "Pray tell, Jesus, my Lord." And Jesus goes like, "Neurological diseases." And Bartholomew goes like, "Definitely, that's something that's been a passion of mine for years upon years."
But I like the idea more that Jesus is like, neurological diseases, and Bartholomew's like, "What the fuck are neurological diseases, my lord?" And he's like, "Give it about 2,000 years, and you'll know."
Because time is a circle.
It's more just, we'll be in paradise by then, Bartholomew, and I'll be able to show you what they are. I don't know, because Jesus knows already, because you know he's infinite or whatever. Is Jesus infinite? I don't understand. This is where my knowledge of
I don't know.
I know the trivia. I know the trivia around sort of people who've been beatified by the Catholic Church, but the actual dogma of the Catholic Church, I am sorely lacking in.
I've read the Bible a couple of times just so that I could say I read the Bible.
I've seen dogma. That's it.
My neighbour, when I lived with my parents, he used to say, if you've ever lost something, pray to Saint Anthony, because he's the patron saint of lost items. I'm like, what?
Oh.
Yeah, because he gave me a little keychain and that Saint Anthony in it. He's like, just pray to him and you'll find it. I'm like, what?
I like that. I like that.
What if I
a charm for Saint Anthony? Because when you get christened, I don't know if you have been christened, but when you get christened.
No, I wasn't aware of when I got christened.
No, but I mean, when one is christened, one receives a Saint Christopher. No.
Yes.
The patron saint of travellers, which I think is why you get a Saint Christopher, because you're going to travel through your life and then be welcomed back into the kingdom of God or something of that nature. Wouldn't it be good if there was like you don't have to be christened and then get the Saint Christopher? There's like various charms you can have, a bit like an RPG game, and like each one is like a buff throughout life. So you could have the rather than the Saint Christopher. Like, he's not going to travel. When you've got your baby, he's like, he ain't going to travel. He's going to lose a lot of shit though. So we'll get him we'll get him the St. Anthony one instead then. And
Plus
then
two to not losing your car keys.
Yeah, he might keep his keys on him a bit better. Or you give him a little St. Bartholomew, and it's like, he ain't going to get no neurological diseases. Ain't no way. Because that'd be better, wouldn't it? If you had a choice when you were having your baby christened, and the priest was like, right, we can offer you either the St. Christopher. It's like, what's that? It's like, well, might have a good holiday. Or we can inure him against neurological disease. I'm like, I'll probably take the neurological disease, thanks. I won't take a neurological. I'll take the buff against the defense. I keep calling it buff. I've been playing a lot of Darkest Dungeon. I'll take the defense against the neurological disease. Cheers.
Buff is a rather generic video game terminology, so I think most people know what you're talking about.
No, it is, but I'm saying specifically it's in my mind currently because I've been playing Darkest. A lot. Like, I've played about 20 hours in the last 2 days, so
I have that game and I've been meaning to start on it at one point.
I got it almost when it came out, around the time it came out.
2 years ago.
Yeah. And I think I played about 120 minutes or so, and the first time I got to the first boss, and it absolutely wiped me. I was like, this game's fuck bullshit, man. And like, I'd never picked it up since, and I kept meaning to go back to it. And I was a little bored one day last week, and I went back to it, and I was like, right, I'm going to go in this. I've got the right mindset now. The game tells you on literally the loading screen it's going to be a prick to you. And I went in and got like 3 squad wipes, and I was like, this is fine, I'm enjoying it.
That's the entire point of the game, isn't it? Just to,
and then
everybody dies.
I got a good handle of the stuff. I started again from scratch, and I've literally played about 50 hours in the last week or so. It's got its hooks deep into me. Like, I'm fucking loving it now. Probably gonna get the DLC.
That's out soon, isn't it? I'm quite the same. I play a game, I'm like, I quite like that, and then I put it down and I forget about it. And then I'm like, oh right, I owned that. Like, a while ago, I played Murdered Soul Suspect, which is by Square Enix, which is about a police officer. It's pretty fucking good. But I played it, and I was like, I got 4 hours in, and I was making decent headway into the plot, because it's not a very long game. But then I put it down, and then Kirby came out, and somebody bought me Kirby, and I'm like, yay, I get to play Kirby! And I played all of that, and then I now have to go back and finish Murdered Soul Suspect. But it's like finding the motivation. It's like, sigh.
No, it is. The weirdest one, though, when I guess that's the same thing. Is like, when you start a game and you're like, man, this is really good. I'm really enjoying this game, and then you turn it off, you just never go back to it again, and you can't even explain why, because it's like you knew you were having fun with it. I've played the original Bioshock before Infinite came out. My mate lent me it on the 360. And he was like, you got to play this, because when Infinite comes out, you probably want to play it. Like, this game's amazing, right? And I'd heard loads about Bioshock, obviously, like, seminal game, etc. I started playing. I played about 5 hours of it. This is really, really good, actually. Got up to the first sort of mini-boss level thing. Got past that. I'm like, damn, I'm really enjoying this, yeah. And then just stopped playing it, never played it again. Gave it back, and I was like, after about a month, just gave it back. He was like, did you finish it? I was like, I barely played it, mate. But I feel like I've had it too long now. And then I did play Infinite. Infinite was legitimately my favourite game ever. And then when Bioshock Remastered came out, and that was on sale on Steam, I bought Bioshock again for like £3 about 2 years ago and never played it still. And I kept meaning to play it. Last week, my control pad broke, so I was looking for any game I could play with a mouse and keyboard, and I was like, fucking Bioshock, man. Me and you have got unfinished business. And I played it. I got past that boss that I got to the first time. Haven't played it since.
Oh my!
I don't know why. I need to finish this game. I know what the I know how the story pans out and everything, and I know what the twist is. And as much as I wish I didn't, it's really cool to play through it and see all the little hints and like nods to like
what's gonna happen.
It's kind of staring you there in the face the whole way. It's a bit like, long before I had seen The Usual Suspects, I knew what the twist was in The Usual Suspects.
Right.
So when I went to watch it the first time, I watched it in a completely different way than I normally would have, because I was like looking for the clues.
I had that with The Sixth Sense.
Right. I mean, I imagine The Usual Suspect holds up better than The Sixth Sense does.
Well, yeah.
Because Sixth Sense isn't very good. But yeah, it was like, as much as I really enjoyed watching it, I was like, I wish I could have enjoyed it, though, with the mystery. But it is kind of cool going through, like, literally in Bioshock. I mean, it's probably okay to do spoilers for Bioshock, and everyone knows it now, don't they?
I think if we just say, this is your spoiler warning for Bioshock.
Yeah, and it's not going to be massive anyway. It's just
it's like, this is your spoiler warning for Bioshock.
It's not really a spoiler. It's not really a spoiler because, I mean, if you know what it is, great. If you don't know, then...
And see, now we've already spent enough time saying that we're going to have spoilers, so now you can just spoil it.
Yeah, but it's not going to be spoilers really. But yeah, but like, it literally, the opening shot, the very first thing that you see in Bioshock, is a little card that says, "Would you kindly do like." And I like, because you know when you're on the plane to Rapture.
Yes.
And he's got a little present, hasn't he? Because he's got a little party. On the little card, it says, "Would you kindly?" I would never, ever, ever have noticed that in a million years. I would have glanced at the text and then left it from my mind. And like, it was literally the first thing I saw, and I was like, "Oh my fucking god, Ken Levine, you son of a bitch! I read your book."
You say this now, and I'm like, "Of course it was." Oh my god. Okay, yes.
Well, it's like in Infinite, the two people that row you to the fucking lighthouse, the two twins who do all the time shit.
Oh yeah, I'm not that as familiar with Infinite as I am with the first one, but yes,
I absolutely adored Infinite. I adored it.
They're two very good games. They're like landmarks in storytelling in games.
Oh, the two Bioshock games that exist.
I've not played the one where you're the big daddy.
To be fair, I've heard that like the actual meat and potatoes mechanics of number 2, very good. It like a very good combat game and stuff. Apparently, the shooting is better in 2 than it is in either of the story-driven games. But it is what it is. It was a cash grab. I haven't played it, but I know friends who've played it, and they said basically you can skip it. It's kind of fun for what it is, but it's not, you know. Apparently there's a new Bioshock in the works. I don't know if you heard this.
I haven't, no, and I'm quite surprised because I know that the guy behind it had a burnout from working on Infinite.
Yeah, well, so Ken Levine, who used to head up Irrational, they were a subsidiary of 2K. They broke away from 2K, I want to say. He might have left and set his own studio even, but they broke away from 2K after Infinite. And now they've just rebranded actually last week. They're not called Irrational Games anymore. They're called something else. Ghost something Ghost. That's not important. The important thing is it's not him. It's still 2K that own Bioshock, and 2K are making the new Bioshock. So Ken Levine, the driving force behind Bioshock and Bioshock Infinite, and indeed System Shock, he isn't involved with the new one. So it might be more Bioshock 2 than, but I mean, I'm curious at least. I'm not willing to go, "Oh, Ken Levine's not involved, therefore it can fuck off. It's not really Bioshock." Like, I'm willing to see what it is and give it a chance. But
I am so willing to give people leeway, but they have to prove it. Not like Konami, and the first thing they do as soon as they get rid of Hideo Kojima is to say, like, "Here's this zombie shooter where you build a base and you pay for upgrades. Hooray! Metal Gear."
No, Konami can fuck off. But I mean, they got out more or less got out of the biz, so whatever.